Implementation Development Service. The BAIDS program is a major step forward.
A game changer for the Black business community.
Designed specifically for Black entrepreneurs, by Black entrepreneurs.
BAIDS provides expert help to Black businesses.
It addresses the most important barriers to Black success.
Entrepreneurs need 4 things to be successful: access to capital, to network, mentors and sponsors, access to processes.
Une façon de travailler avec les entrepreneurs pour vraiment les amener à optimiser et maximiser leurs projets entrepreneuriaux.
We're going to sit with you and we're going to wrap you around the best experts we have.
CashPro will help Black business owners get access to more payroll resources.
Anybody that needs to get more funds to amplify their business, ACBS, we do grant writing sessions.
The support, it's tremendous.
I have a lot to learn, and I feel as though I'm in good hands.
I'm really looking forward to all that we're going to be able to accomplish together.
Please check out bbpa.org/BAIDS.
Land acknowledgement. As we gather together, we acknowledge the sacred land on which we reside. It has been a site of human activity for 15,000 years. This land is the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. The territory was the subject of Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, this gathering place is still the home of many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community on this territory. We are also mindful of broken covenants and the need to strive to make right with all our relations. Last but certainly not least, we acknowledge the people of African descent who were brought here against their own will or in search of a safe place to live their lives and raise their children. Reconnaissance des terres. En nous rassemblant, nous reconnaissons la terre sacrée sur laquelle nous résidons. C'est un site d'activité humaine depuis 15 000 ans. Cette terre est le territoire des Premières Nations Huron-Wendat et Petun, les Scéniques et plus récemment les Mississaugas de la rivière Crédit. Le territoire était sujet de l'alliance de la ceinture Wampum plat avec cuillère, un accord entre la Confédération Iroquois et Confédération des Ojibwe et des nations alliées à partager et à prendre soin pacifiquement pour les ressources autour des Grands Lacs. Aujourd'hui, ce lieu de rassemblement est toujours le foyer de nombreux peuples autochtones de toute l'île de la Tortue et nous sommes reconnaissants d'avoir la possibilité de travailler dans la communauté sur ce territoire. Nous sommes également conscients des alliances brisées et de la nécessité de nous efforcer de guérir toutes nos relations. Dernier point, mais non le moindre, nous remercions les personnes d'ascendance africaine qui ont été amenées ici contre leur volonté ou à la recherche d'un endroit sûr où vivre leur vie et élever leurs enfants.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BAIDS. I am Victoria Allen, your host for today. We have our special guests with us, Nicola Harris and Michelle Clarke. So I'm going to read some information about them. We were talking about Legos earlier, you'll see why, but they have a lot of wonderful information that they are here to share. So I'm going to start with Nicola Harris. Nicola is a PhD candidate in organizational leadership, focusing her doctoral research on the development of decolonized leadership curriculum. She also holds a master's degree in social work with a specialization in equity. Nicola has more than 20 years of training experience developing organizations. She is also a certified professional coach, trained in EQI 2.0 and 360 assessments. She also is a certified equity facilitator and a certified facilitator in Lego Serious Play. Nicola is the recipient of the Amethyst Award from the Ministry of Children's and Youth Services and the Social Work Award from Niagara University for her work excellence. Also joining us, we have Michelle Clarke, who is pursuing a master's degree in social work with a specialization in Indigenous studies. Michelle has an MBA in public policy and a postgraduate certificate in project management from Florida International University. She has over 20 years in social services sector with a keen focus on public sector management, employment, and training. Michelle is highly skilled in designing and delivering curriculum in person, online, and in blended courses. She is also trained in EQI 2.0 and 360 assessments, as well as a certified facilitator in Lego Serious Play. So I am going to hand it over to our special guests for today, Nicola and Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. We appreciate it. So thanks, everyone. We are honored and blessed to be here. I'm just going to take a moment to share my screen. So bear with me. Okay, just give me a heads up if you can see my screen, folks. Yes? Okay, awesome. So, all right, so just I wanted to start by letting everyone know what we will be covering for the next 20 to 25 minutes. So there are going to be two parts to our presentation. The first part we'll be discussing organizational design, and the second part of our presentation will be really sharing with you about the building blocks for success. So I know you got a snapshot of our bios, but what Michelle and I also wanted to share with you is that we have over 40 years combined experience in business and community development. We are both the co-founders of an organization called the Center for Strategic Impact. And at the Center for Strategic Impact, we focus on building capacity of organizations which are primarily Black-led, which are either not-for-profit or for-profit. And we want all of them to have sustainable growth and success. And how we do this is we provide services in the area of organizational design and development, business development, focusing on business and strategic planning, not-for-profit capacity building, fund development with a focus on grant writing and procurement bid writing, training and development, project management, and leadership and business coaching. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. So let's start our presentation by defining what is meant by organizational design. So organizational design in a nutshell is a step-by-step methodology which really identifies and develops work procedures, structures, and systems for any organization. So you might say, Nicola, okay, I get that. So what are the actual benefits of implementing organizational design within your business? And what some of the benefits are is it can increase your profits. It can decrease some of your operating costs. Usually what we see when organizations have a good organizational design, you will see them have improved efficiency. And also folks at the organization will have a clear understanding of their strategies and how these strategies, when implemented, can help them to manage and grow. So here we wanted to share with you some statistics. We think that evidence really gets to the heart of why these things are impossible. So some of you may already be aware of this information, but we wanted to kind of start by grounding our presentation within some statistics. So what we know is that business failure statistics show us that about 96% of small businesses that enter the marketplace survive for one full year. 85% survive for around 3 years, and 70% survive for five years or more. And approximately 7,000 businesses in Canada go bankrupt each year. According to an Industry Canada study, the main reason why business fails is because of inexperienced management. And what researchers have done with this information is they've tried to drill down to say, okay, what are these critical components which cause businesses to fail? And what they have specifically pinpointed is that businesses typically fail mainly because they have poor planning. So management is ineffective. And because management is ineffective, they don't develop proper plans and businesses fail. So we want to share this information with you today for the next 25 minutes, because we want you to know how you need to plan for your business. And we also want you to be in that 70% in terms of businesses that survive for 5 years or more. So what I wanted to do here is just kind of get a temperature check from folks around where you see yourself in terms of your own entrepreneurship journey. And what we have here is there's a few levels that entrepreneurs can go through in terms of their journey. And so the lowest rung and the lowest level is the survival level. And so I'm just going to say some statements and just reflect and think about where you might fall. So in the survival level, you will have adequate insurance coverage to ensure if you have any theft, if there's any unexpected events, and this won't create any hardship for you because you do have that insurance. You also will have a bookkeeper or accountant that manages your business finances. And you also have proper contracts in place with your suppliers and customers to ensure that your business is managed properly. The next level is the striving level. And here are some statements that we want you to think about to see if you're there. So my business has been profitable for at least a year. You would have systems in place to manage your business, and you seldom feel overwhelmed with your business. So that's the striving level. Let's move now to the alive level. Here you will have effective decision-making systems in place. Yourself and your employees, if you have them, have a clear understanding of what your core strengths are as a business, what are your expertise, and what's your competitive advantage in the business space regarding your products and services. And also the work environment that you're in is focused and very productive. And so really what we want to see when we see entrepreneurs and business owners flourishing is that thrive level. And here you will have all of your relationships, both inside your business and outside your business, highly functional and extremely satisfying to you as a business owner. In terms of your finances, your financial standing allows you to do everything that you dreamed of. And the last statement really speaks to, if you're not around, is your business going to run when you're not there? So ultimately, we want to see all of you in that thriving level where you're leading both a professional and personal life that is satisfying for you. So let's move now into what we call the meat and potatoes of our presentation. And this is the 5 building blocks to success. So the first building block to success is clarity of purpose. And so what you'll find in terms of developing your clarity of purpose is you'll have 2 main components. The first is you need to have a strong mission statement. And you might ask, what's a mission statement? A mission statement really is just a short statement of why your organization exists, what is the overall goal for your organization, and it identifies some operational goals that you may have. It may talk a little bit about what kind of products and services that you're going to provide. It may also speak to your clientele. Who are your customers? The next aspect is a vision statement. And a vision statement really describes the long-term goals for any company, whether it's a not-for-profit or for-profit. Sometimes we get questions around, is a mission and vision statement just for not-for-profits? And no, a mission and vision statement can be seen in any type of business. I'm just going to take a couple minutes just to give you some examples of some mission statements. So we chose BBPA because obviously we are here having this presentation hosted by BBPA. So their mission is to advance Canada's Black communities by delivering programs that support business and professional excellence, higher education, and economic development. This is a good, strong mission statement. We also wanted to share a company that I think all of you know, and I think for myself, I've become more intimately involved with this company, and it's Amazon. So Amazon's mission statement is, we strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and utmost convenience. And so in terms of a vision statement, again, we'll choose BBPA. And their vision statement is to be the organization of choice, serving the Black community's business, professional, and economic development needs. This vision statement really gets to the heart of what is the end goal for all the purposes and actions that BBPA is doing in the community, one of which we're here today. This is what the end goal is. Again, we'll use Amazon as our example, and their vision statement is to be Earth's most customer-centric company, where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online, and endeavors to offer its customers the lowest price. So you can see with these examples of vision and mission statements, you really get to understand what the purpose of the business is. And so when you understand your purpose and you can engage in strategies that ensure that you continue to work on your purpose, you won't get distracted. A lot of times, Michelle and I in our work, what we observe is that business owners often get distracted because they don't have clarity of what the purpose is. Their purpose might depend on what season it is, or what month it is, or what's sexy, in the next year. And what we believe is that's not a good way to run your business. You need to concretely understand what your purpose is, because when you get distracted, I think we've seen a lot of businesses being impacted by COVID-19. And for some, I'm not saying all, but for a large number of businesses, the reason why they have lost their steam, and some of them, as we know, will have gone bankrupt, is because they don't have a clarity of purpose. So let's move to the next building block that we believe, and that's strategy. So what is strategy, you might ask? And a business strategy is really the combination of all the decisions that you take and all of the actions that are performed by your business to accomplish your business goals. So we can relate that back to our conversation around clarity of purpose and our mission and vision. And so it also speaks to what your competitive advantage is within the marketplace. So how are you competing with the other businesses that may be offering products or services that are similar to your own? A strategy really is the backbone of any business, and it really creates a roadmap for entrepreneurs and business owners, which will lead them to their ultimate goal, which we have already spoke about, is your vision, your end goal. So I'm wondering if anyone here can share in the chat or, speak out loud what their business strategy is. One of the things Michelle and I do when we coach is we ask businesses, what's your business strategy? And I will tell you that a lot of times we get a blank face. I'm not sure, I got to think about it. And that sends red flags, right? We want to know that if you're a business owner, you know what your business strategy is. And if anybody asks you what that is, you're able to share. So I'm going to pause for a sec to see, Victoria, I don't know if you can see the chat, if anybody can share what their business strategy might be.
Can anyone share? You can unmute or you can write in the chat.
Don't be shy.
Anyone brave today? Anyone? Strategy, anyone?
It's okay.
Not at this time.
Not at this time. That's okay. So moving along. In terms of your strategy, we also want you to look at what are the decisions and actions that you need to take to accomplish your goals. Again, we're going to link it back to your mission and vision. What is it that you need to do on a day-to-day basis? And what I want to talk to you about right now is strategy starts from inception. So what type of business entity you have dictates how you are able to accomplish your business goals. So is your type of business a sole proprietor? Is it a partnership? Is it an incorporated business? Or is it a not-for-profit? Whatever business type you have will need to be aligned with your end goal and your clarity of purpose. So for example, if you're registered as a business and your current type of business is, for example, a for-profit business, but in your products or services that you're offering, you have a social component. Maybe a not-for-profit offering or type of business would be more suitable for you to meet your end goals. And some of the benefits of having a not-for-profit are that you may be open to obtain funding that you would not be open to as a for-profit business. So what we really want to share is that business strategy and a firm business strategy start from the type of business that you register. So this is a decision. I know sometimes entrepreneurs enter that decision and say, oh, I'm just going to be a sole proprietor, or oh, I'm just going to incorporate. But you really need to think about what your purpose is and make sure that the type of business registration that you do aligns with that. A lot of times we hear from our customers that, you know, I don't want to have a not-for-profit because not-for-profits, you can't make money. And that's actually not true. So I'm not going to go too much into depth. I could go on probably for the next hour. But what we do want you to know is that not-for-profit or any type of business is a strategy. And it's, if you're not familiar or you're not sure about the benefits and disadvantages of the varying types of business, I would urge all of you to do your research and figure that out and make sure at inception that you have the right type of business registered, because the right type of business is a business strategy. We also want to encourage all business owners to have diverse strategies as it relates to business. I'm not a financial person, but I know that I work with many financial planners, and I'm sure all of you have heard multiple times when you talk to financial planners is you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You have a diverse portfolio, and we would say that as it relates to business strategies. So you don't just have one business strategy, you have multiple business strategies, and especially in these uncertain times when things are changing very, very quickly, you can't just have one strategy. You need to have multiple strategies. So I'm gonna turn the stage over to my colleague, Michelle. Oops, sorry. Oops. And I will change the slides for you, Michelle.
Great, thank you, Nicola. All right, so the third building block that we want to discuss is around capabilities. And we divided this into two sections. So firstly, there is what we refer to as a legal structure. And that is how the legal ramification of your organization, whether you're going to have a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a limited liability company or corporation. Nicola had mentioned also around whether it's a not-for-profit or a for-profit. So determining that structure from the very get-go is going to help you determine how you're going to strategize in order to be able to move your business upward. So when you have determined the legal type of structure that you want, then there are also strategies and structures that you need to put in place in order to optimize your business functioning and operation. So what are the objectives that you need to accomplish? What are your aims? Who are your employees going to be? Who are your customer base? These are things that you would put in place in order to ensure that your business is successful. Putting structures in place enable you also to determine how you're going to coordinate activities, ensuring that you are being very systematic in getting your operation from point A to point B, and that everybody that's on board, your employees, are fully aware of how you're going to move your business forward. So in terms of processes, any business that you can think of, as a matter of fact, almost any type of business relationship, any thing that you're involved in, you need to create processes. And what processes does for you is to ensure that there is a systematic way of doing things. It also ensures that whether or not you are there, that things can go on because people are aware of these processes. There are also things that are external that you might need. There are standards, depending on the nature of your business, that you need to incorporate in order to meet the requirements of the government. Say, for instance, you are in, say, manufacturing. There are certain standards that you need to meet in order to ensure health and safety for whoever might be using or accessing your product. So those are external, but you can also put in standards for your business to ensure, one, the coordination, the consistency, the integrity. So these are things that you always need to bear in mind when you are developing your business. And that enables your business to grow and move forward. In terms of the processes, it also enables you to operate with a certain level of efficiency. Because when these processes are in place, then you can guarantee that it's going to be the same all the time, every day, anyhow. What you also want to consider is how it helps your staff members or your employees, or whoever you want to refer to them as, in order to be able to carry out the activities of your company. Once you ensure that you put these in place, and one of the things that you need to also consider is that these processes has to have some amount of flexibility because things and times are changing. We know what COVID has done to businesses, and we want to be able to ensure that these processes have, yes, they're consistent and reliable, and you can validate them, but you also want to be able to maneuver in these processes as well. So you want to also be reviewing them on a regular basis, because what you might have included 2 years ago might not be relevant or useful now. So you also want to consider, how can I be able to review these, make changes, make modifications so that my business is running at its optimum. Processes and procedures too, it's always good to have them written down and stored somewhere that is easily accessible. So when you are able to write or have them in writing, then one, if you're not there, someone can access it. People know they can always refer back to it. If there's any discrepancy, you can also refer back to it if it's in writing. Can you turn the slide for me, please, Nicola? Change the slide. All right, so fourth building block is around evaluation and rewards. So let's look at evaluation. Many times people that are running small business in particular are not always paying attention to evaluation. And there are two streams to evaluation. There's the external evaluation that a customer might use, and that can come, say, for instance, in the form of a review of your business. So they write a review of how they felt, what it meant to use your product or your services. And that is a way of evaluating whether or not you're doing what you said you would do. There are also internal evaluations that you can put in place to ensure that you're your operation is moving forward, that it is functioning at the level that you expect it to. It is also around the consistency as well. If you say that you're going to do X, then is this what you're doing? Evaluation is also a way of measuring impact. And when we talk specifically around not-for-profit or social enterprise business model, having that impact measured is very, very key. Typically, when you receive funding from the government or an organization like United We Are Trillium, there's always an evaluation component that is embedded in the application process. And there's an expectation in your reporting that you are going to make an assessment. Did you get to do all that you said that you were going to do? And is the impact that you anticipated achieved? And this is something that you can do, whether you want to do it quarterly. Your financial reports are also a form of evaluation because it tells you right away whether or not you're making money or not. So having these processes put throughout your business, whether it's annually, 6 months or 3 months, is a good way of testing whether or not what you have set out to achieve at the beginning of a year or for beginning of a cycle is being achieved. Let's move on to the second part. So we talk about rewards, and rewards, we are looking at both your staff or your employees and how you can ensure that you're building that loyalty around your employees. Many years ago when I was doing my MBA, one of the case studies that we looked at was Southwest Airlines. And this is still an organization that is in good financial standing. But one of the things that was key to the way they operated was how they treated their employees. They were very deliberate about ensuring that their employers felt that they were a part of the organization. And they were, for instance, one of the things that they offered was shares. Typically, organizations, especially for-profit organization, has a separation between shareholders and employees. But they decided to change it around and had their employees also shareholders. And this is one way that you can ensure that your staff feels satisfied, wants to get up every morning and come to work and put their best foot forward. So there are a number of ways that you can reward your employees. There are incentives, separate and apart from pay, benefits that you can incorporate to ensure that your employers are satisfied and want to remain, and also have that same vision and passion that you have about running your business and ensuring that it's successful. There's also rewards that you can offer to your customers. You want customers that are repeat customers. And when you try to ensure that your customers are repeat, then you also offer incentives to get them to come back time and time again. And there are a number of strategies that you can apply. Many of you, I'm sure, have credit cards, and there are those loyalty programs, either money back guarantee or some other ways that pull you into buying or purchasing that product or using that product. And this is another way that companies and businesses can use to get people coming back time and time again. So it's always good that we look at that and see how we can ensure that our staff is satisfied as well as our customers are satisfied in order to help us grow our business. You want to change the slide for me? Next slide. All right. So number 5, we talk about people and practices. We fully understand and aware that businesses cannot survive without people. And you alone, unfortunately, is not able to carry out all the functions to maximize profit, to carry out the roles and responsibility on your own. It's often tiring, and I know sometimes that's how we might start off as a small business, but we need people in order to grow our business. And one of the first things that we ought to consider is, who are the people that I need on my team? Who are the critical people that can drive my business? And maybe depending on the nature of your business, you might opt to look at finance, for instance. Marketing is always a key area that you need. You want people to be aware of what your product or services are. So marketing might be something that you focus on. Whatever you focus on, you want to make sure that that is the right person for the job. And there are two pieces around people. One is around the technical skills that they might bring to the table and be able to carry out the function that they're assigned. But the second piece is the social skills. It is very, very important that organizational culture is smooth and it enhances people's willingness to do better, to come in every day and put in whatever they need. So we also want to ensure that we are getting people who are able to work together. Teamwork is very, very important. And you want to make sure that there's nobody that is jeopardizing or sabotaging your business because they don't get along with the next person. You want that conveyor belt of work to go smoothly and everybody is working towards one particular goal and we're not pulling in separate directions. So pay attention to the people, not only skills, but also that they are able to get along with each other. The second part is around practice. What are some of the things that you can look you could look at your competitors, you could look at others, but what are some of the practices that are unique to your particular type of business structure or business or delivery in terms of services or programs? What is it that you're offering and who is doing what? When we talk about best practices, is you don't have to be the one to constantly be changing. There are things that are done and done properly right now that you can imitate, you can modify, you can tweak based on your specific organization. But it's always good to look at what is being offered out there, what is working well, what's not working well, and then adapt them to your particular organization. But bottom line is practice is always good because it ensures that you're keeping track on the things that you need to accomplish. You're doing it efficiently, you're doing it effectively, and you're not necessarily working harder, but you're working smarter. So always remember that you are incorporating these practices so that the efficiency is top notch. And being efficient and at your operational level is very, very important because that's how you're going to grow your business. That's how your business is going to move from step one, as we talk about striving to thriving. And it's always good that everybody that's around you, that you surround yourself with people that is going to follow through on these practices and taking them into consideration because they all are in agreement with your end goal, which is to grow your business and to move it from just 1 year of operating to many, many years of operation. Next slide. Can you go to the next slide for me, please? All right. I think it's a slide before where you talk about business plan. Okay. All right. So let's look at developing a business plan. I'm not sure how many of you actually have a business plan already, but these are some of the components that are critical that you incorporate into your business plan. And one of the things, I won't go into each of them separately. Nicola spoke about some of the first parts already, but it's very, very important that you have that business plan. Because what the business plan does is that it gives you like a roadmap in how your business is going to play itself out. It also should be a flexible document. There has to be that flexibility built into it. It's almost like it's a living document. And it's not that you're going to just flippantly change or make modification to your business plan, but you need to be flexible enough so that if there are things that are changing in the larger economy or in your particular sector, that you're able to pivot, you're able to make changes, you're able to modify it in order that you remain sustainable. Because that is always our long-term goal as business people, as entrepreneurs, that we want to be sustainable. We want to move from 1 year to 5 years to 15 years to be able to leave a legacy for whether it's our children or somebody else, but at the end of the day, that our business continues to be sustainable and to be able to thrive all the time. So having these things in place, reviewing them on a regular basis to make sure that you are on track and you're remaining on track, but also reviewing it to make modification to see what the market is like, so that you are on top of things. It is also an opportunity for you to check around risk and opportunities that might come your way. Because this is in your business plan, we know that we incorporate like your SWOT analysis. And this is also an opportunity that you could look at regularly. Am I seeing these threats? Am I being aware of the risk? What are some of the opportunities that are inevitable now because of what's going on in the economy or in our society? And making use of these ahead of time. So if you have your business plan, it also allows you that, maybe one day you decide that you're going to sell it, or you're looking for funding or a loan. And most financial corporations are asking you to have a business plan in order for you to even approach them to solicit a loan or to get funding as well. So always remember to have your business plan ready and good to go. Financials inserted in your business plan is key. It also helps to keep you on track in terms of whether you're making a profit or you're not. But it's your guideline that you want to keep close to you and to always check in from time to time to make sure that you're on par. I think the next slide you can go to, Nicola. Next slide. All right, so let's just do a quick recap, and our focus is on the building blocks. So 1, clarity of purpose. From very early, what is your mission and vision? Ensure that you are aware of that. 2, strategy. How do you get to your desired outcomes? What are the strategies that I need to implement or incorporate in order to move forward? Capabilities. What structures I need? What are the procedures that I need to put in place in order to have my business function as its optimum? Evaluation and reward, depending on the type of business you have, but it's always critical that at somewhere, whether at the front end or the back end, there's some assessment of your business, whether it's doing well or what type of impact it is actually having. And ensuring that we are rewarding those who are loyal to us, our employees, as well as our customer, to ensure that we get the best from them all the time. The 5th building block is around people and practices. Who do we need on our team? And ensuring that they are not only providing us with the technical skills, but are also able to work together with each other, and implementing practices that have been tried and tested and proven to be good, so that we can also get our business going and keep forward. All right, I think next slide, and just a wrap up. So we're just leaving a couple of resources that we have found to be very useful and share with our client base from time to time. The first 4 are books, and these are from individuals who have tried and tested what it means to build a business, provide quite a bit of resource and learning material that can help you. Some of them incorporate case studies, which is helpful. It's always good sometimes to see that practical working out. And again, it might be more useful if you're at the initial stage of your business or the newest stage versus if you're further along. But these are good resources. There's the last video, the last one, which is a video, Clarity of Purpose, that we would recommend to use. Most of the books are on Amazon. I'm not necessarily advertising for Amazon, but I know we have become much more familiar with Amazon. And they're available for you to use to help you grow your business. I think I'll wrap up. And our last slide, which is really just to give you information as to how to contact us. And we'll just turn it over now to any questions. I'm not sure there are questions in the chat, or if you want to just share and ask questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle and Nicola. So if you want to bring up that last slide, you definitely can, so we can take a little peek at that as we're getting the questions going. And while you have that up, there were a lot of questions for this presentation. So we were just curious if we could get it in the chat, or how can we get this presentation for the group? Maybe, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, they say yes.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, okay, perfect. So if you could either drop it in the chat, or we can just pull who was here today and make sure we just get a copy of that to the group. Sure. And so, or you can just email it to me as well. And so please see how to get in touch with them. They drop their information there along with their website. So they're saying brilliant, great presentation. We love it. So I just wanted to go back. Someone did share their consultancy strategy. So they said facilitating project development and initiating research on disabilities. So thank you for dropping that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now's the time. If anyone has any questions, raise your virtual hand and I will make it where you can unmute yourself, or you can drop your questions into the chat. So I just had a question about the level check. So I saw like where you're at. So I saw on the presentation you had the highlights. Where can we get more of that detail that you talked about? I hope.
So like hidden. So when we do our business coaching, it's actually a more comprehensive assessment. So it's actually an assessment tool. And we just chose a few just for the purpose of the presentation. But yeah, come and connect with us and we can definitely do the whole assessment. I think it's a really good tool for organizational development because it covers the gamut. But yeah, it's part of a larger assessment tool we use in our work.
Definitely. You know how to reel us in, because I was like, I need to talk to them a little more about where I'm at. I want to know. Let's see. So the benefits that you talked about with giving the employees money, shares, it doesn't always have to be money. Are there any other ideas that you can think about or share that you've seen that work that, maybe you're just starting out, you don't have that extra?
Sure. So the big one right now with COVID, there's lots of stats to back this up, is working from home, right? And having a flexible work schedule. So I recently worked with a customer that implemented a flexible work schedule. So that's an incentive for their staff. Another great one that is not really tied to finance is what we call the 80-20. Amazon was the one who kind of pushed this forward, but that's giving people 80% of their time to focus on your business and 20% of their time to be creative and focus on whatever they want to. And so I worked at an organization years ago that had implemented this, and it was not for profit. So I do want to say that it's not just for profits that do this. And so what it equivocated to is 1 day a month, I could do whatever I want, focus my attention. And what I want to share is that research shows that even when you give your employees 20% to do whatever, they typically focus on your business, on things that are related to your business. So we have a lot of evidence that shows that many businesses, I know Post-it is one that Post-it company, it was an 80-20, or having one of their employees do some innovation and came up with Post-it as a result of this kind of notion of, giving employees time to kind of focus on other things. So I think those are the ones we like to promote because they don't really have like an upfront cost to them, and they're more easily implemented.
Excellent, excellent. And then on the other side too, so we talked about employees, so customers, what are some maybe new things or different things that you're seeing that you can do for your customers?
So I think the tried, tested, and true ones are what Michelle talked about, those loyalty. So Starbucks, I think, is the king of, I come, I get my coffee, I get a stamp on my card. I think those ones in any business are easily implementable, right? So I think we always start with talking to our customers about doing things like that are easy, and there's no upfront cost. So we would recommend, especially for small businesses, to start with things like that. The other low-hanging fruits are things like, it's your birthday. It's Nicola's birthday on February 2nd. Sending Nicola an e-card or something like that, just an acknowledgement. So I know, sometimes people are like, I can't afford to give somebody my product or my service, but you can recognize them. I know UGG, I'm a huge UGG fan, everyone. And they send me on my birthday, a message with wonderful boots that I can buy, right? And I'm like, wow. So these are things that you can do, that you're not giving something, you're just making an acknowledgement, and people tend to gravitate to things like that.
I agree. Definitely love it when you just get a random card.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Let's see. So I see the questions coming in. Awesome. So question, Mac, is there a difference between organizational development and business development?
I'll give it to Michelle. Michelle stuck?
Let's see. I think she may be having a little bit of
So I would say yes. So the tried and trust is yes. So organizational development is really speaking to your infrastructure, whereas business development is speaking to some of the other things that we talked about in terms of, you're at the ideation stage and you're putting various things into place to move your business forward. Whereas organizational design is really speaking about, my business is sole proprietor. I'm going to have a decision-making structure that is either centralized, that means it's kind of hierarchy, Nicola's the boss, and then there's people under Nicola, or Nicola's not the boss, and there's a whole circle of people that have the same amount of decision-making power. So I would just differentiate the two as it relates to more of what we would call infrastructure, focusing on those infrastructure actions as opposed to business development in terms of the concrete services, products, your marketing, etc.
Awesome. Let's see. Michelle left, but she's coming right
back. I was going to say, Michelle got kicked out.
A quick little reboot in the virtual world. She'll be right back. Let's see. Next question. Thank you. Can you provide a quick summary of other services you both render in your business?
Sure. So we did share at the beginning, but like in a nutshell, we do grant writing as well as procurement bid writing. We do training and development, business and leadership coaching, organizational development and design, not-for-profit capacity building. So focusing on, board of directors, recruitment, governance, things like that. We do project management. So oftentimes in grant writing, we do help not-for-profits obtain a grant, but they don't have the capacity to actually do the project. So we help to manage projects as well. But I guess at a high level, what we would say is we're consultants that have varying expertise and knowledge. So we want to customize your experience. So I would say every customer we have is different, right? Because they have different needs. But broadly, we're wanting to make sure that our businesses with people that look like us are successful, whether they are not-for-profit or for-profit. And however we can do that, if it's fund development, grant writing, procurement, business plan writing, coaching, whatever that is, we have the expertise and skills to do that. And we always start, so just to let everybody know, with an assessment, right? So we, need to know where you're at right now, and then that helps to inform the services. We do usually do a request for a proposal after we've done an assessment and say, okay, based upon our conversation, these are the things that we think would be helpful for your business. And then it's a two-way process, right? To co-design what exactly our work will look like.
Excellent. And Michelle, are you there?
Yeah, I just got back in. Sorry.
Okay.
Internet. Just one thing I would add, though, which is something that we have been focusing on the last 2 years, is around evaluation and getting the research. Because we find that oftentimes, because we don't have the data to back up some of the things that we're saying, it seems anecdotal, then, people don't take us so seriously. So we have been embarking on doing a lot of more data collection, so we can challenge when they say they give us this and we don't get it, or we're not doing good work in the community, because we know that especially the not-for-profit sector suffers a lot because there's not consistent funding, and they're not able to demonstrate that they're making the impact, but they're really doing a lot of work on the ground. So that's something that we have been focusing, and it helps with advocacy as well.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, Nicola and Michelle. As we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to just tell us in general about your business before we get out of here? I'll give the group one more second to drop a question if they would like. Oh, and Michael Pinnock just turned his camera on. We'll see if he wants to share something. Let me make you a co-host real quick, Michael. There you go. You should be able to unmute if you would like.
Thank you very much. As I sit here each week, I listen to the presentations, and they seem to get better. They're definitely better each week. It's like, you're having a drink, and as the night gets dark, things get beautiful. But, I was one of the first probably who put in the chat that I'd love to get a copy of the presentation, because I am learning new ways of saying the same things that is more effective. And so I like your SAT analysis. They survive and strive in their lives and thrive. It's a good thing. And we're going to run a little Zoom questionnaire one of these days to see the folks that we speak to, where they think they are on that grand scale of things, because this presentation is very timely. We're going through finalizing the assessment and moving to stages where we're going to start to deliver services to our constituents. All you said today is so timely, and it is what I love about it, to me at least, because I'm from the old school, I'm learning new ways, more concise ways to deliver very, very powerful and persuasive message. And I think your 5 pillars and your 4, I've actually put them in SAT right now. I'm going to kind of memorize them by saying SAT, S-S-A-T. That's how I'll use it. So on behalf of the BBP, thanks again for the presentation. Thanks for making this time. And I say to the participants all the time, look at these folks, listen to what they say, because these are the folks that will work with you when we assign them to enhance your business, to move it from surviving to thriving. And, you mentioned the question of awards, something I want to remind folks to. There are a lot of small businesses that the owners are not paid.
Yes.
They forget that they're in business to, at the very least, take care of themselves.
Yes.
And you see it takes 70% of business survive after 5 years. Statistically, that's not a bad number. But if you're in the 30%, that is very, very bad.
Yes.
You can lose your house and your car and your all sort of stuff. So we don't want that statistics. We want it to be 100%. And so again, thank you for coming on, and thanks for making this presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our presentation. We're both very passionate about this work, and we look forward to our partnership with BBPA, loving what you guys are doing. So thank you for giving us this platform.
Incidentally, our one aspect of our business model, because I love the idea that you use, you know, our vision and mission. At least we know we are contemporary because we've got bright young folks, you know, so we don't have to spend a lot of time changing that going forward.
No, yeah.
But we have a basic business model, which says we don't spend money unless we have it. Basic business model. We have
profound, profound.
Yeah, robust budget, and because we are in the non-profit space, we're in what they call a public benefit space, and we rely a lot on our solicitation. And I see my president is here, the best marketer in the world. I can tell you, and I've worked with her for 2+ years now. So that's a core business model that we have. We don't spend money unless we have it.
I'm so glad you shared that, because a lot of people, when we ask them what's your business model, they don't know, right? They're not sure.
And a term I think a lot of folks are not using it now, but there's an old term that they call the business model, which is really how you make money.
Right.
That's all it means, how you make money, why you're in what you're in, and how you make money. Everything else is, well, let me not use, everything else is incidental to what you do. And we kind of just use that same model and say, okay, this is how we make money, by solicitation. So we're not going to spend money unless our solicitation is positive and the money is sitting in the bank. But we still have to run a business, so we do accrual type stuff, or we take our chances, and we're guided by very bright and inspirational people. You know, started with my president that will guide us sometime and say, don't worry, you'll get it in 3 months' time. So, but a key concept is that let's not spend the money and then try to find out how we're going to fund it, because it might not be funded in our space. I thought I just mentioned that because you had asked for some input and nobody had put their hand up. So
yes, thank you.
Okay.
People are shy.
Ladies, I just want to say thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation. I had other meetings, but I did want to listen in. And I also want to share that we're having a special BADES session on Wednesday of next week from 6:30 to 8 p.m. We have the flyer here that's going to be coming out soon. And it's really for the individuals who have applied to the BADES program. And we're going to be doing the reveal. All the individuals that will be moving to the next step, and other supports that we'll be having for all the participants and all the applicants. So it's going to be a very informative, engaging, and revealing session that's coming up that Michael and I will be hosting. So I hope for individuals who are on the call right now who have applied that you'll join us on Wednesday of next week from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Just to say here, my president, I love this presentation. That's why I asked for the PowerPoint. And we may ask you folks to come and play a part in that present. I do like the 5 model. I do like aspects that we think that we can actually use to reinforce. It's not the one we're doing on Wednesday, which is really just telling the folks, but the next one we have planned, which is to build better awareness as we go forward. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Thank you. And so just to make sure, it's next Wednesday, 6:30?
Yes, the special reveal one.
Special reveal. So we get 2. You'll see us 2 times next week. So make sure you join us next week to see what we have in store for you. And then thank you, Nicola and Michelle, for sharing with us today. It has been a pleasure, and we will see you next time. We'll see you next week. Thank you.